Henry VIII and his 6 wives. Henry VIII, 1491 to 1547, King of England, is remembered as much for his 6 marriages as for his role in creating the Church of England. His desperate desire for a male heir shaped each marriage and altered England's history. Catherine of Aragon, 1485 to 1536, was the first wife of King Henry VIII of England and the daughter of the Spanish monarchs, Ferdinand II of Aragon and Isabella I of Castile. A few key points about her life. Birth: the 16th of December, 1485, Alcalá de Henares, Spain. Marriage to Arthur. She first married Prince Arthur, Henry VIII's older brother. In 1501, Arthur died just months later. Marriage to Henry VIII. In 1509, she married Henry VIII and became Queen of England. Children. She gave birth to several children, but only one survived infancy: Mary, the first of England, later known as Bloody Mary, the King's Great Matter. Henry VIII wanted a male heir and sought to annul his marriage to Catherine. The Pope refused, which led Henry to break from the Catholic Church and establish the Church of England. Later life, she was divorced, though she always considered herself Henry's true wife, and lived her final years in relative isolation. Death: the 7th of January, 1536, at Kimbolton Castle, England. Anne Boleyn, c. 1501 to 1536, was the second wife of King Henry VIII and one of the most famous queens in English history. Here's her story in brief. Early life. Born to the Boleyn family, she spent time in the courts of the Netherlands and France, gaining sophistication and charm. Rise to power. She caught Henry VIII's attention around 1525, refusing to be just his mistress. She insisted on marriage. Marriage to Henry. Henry broke from the Catholic Church to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon and wed. And in 1533, she was crowned Queen of England the same year. Children. In September 1533, she gave birth to a daughter, Elizabeth, who would later become Elizabeth I, one of England's greatest monarchs. Downfall. Anne miscarried several times, failing to give Henry the son he craved. Enemies at court plotted against her. Execution. In May 1536, she was accused of adultery, incest, and treason charges, likely fabricated. She was found guilty and beheaded at the Tower of London on 19 May 1536. Anne Boleyn's legacy is enormous. Her daughter, Elizabeth, went on to rule for 45 years, shaping England's golden age. Jane Seymour, Henry VIII's 3rd wife, and the only one who gave him a legitimate male heir. Jane Seymour, c. 150-81537, Queen Consort of England, 1536-1537. Marriage. Married Henry VIII on the 30th of May, 1536, just 11 days after Anne Boleyn's execution. Background: she was a gentlewoman in the households of both Catherine of Aragon and Anne Boleyn before catching Henry's attention. Children. Mother of Edward VI, born the 12th of October, 1537. Death: died on the 24th of October, 1537, just 12 days after childbirth, likely from postnatal complications, puerperal fever. Legacy. Remembered as Henry's true wife, since she gave him the son he desperately wanted. Henry had her buried beside him in St. George's Chapel, Windsor Castle. She is the only wife laid to rest with him. Key traits. Motto: bound to obey and serve. Seen as gentle, pious, and submissive compared to Catherine of Aragon and Anne Boleyn. Played peacemaker. Henry to reconcile with his daughters, Mary and Elizabeth. Anne of Cleves. Remembered as the queen who outlived the king and outplayed the game. She was born in Germany in 1515, and in 1540, she was chosen to marry Henry VIII of England. Henry had seen only her portrait, painted by Hans Holbein, and believed she was beautiful enough to be his next queen. But when they met in person, Henry was horrified. He complained that she looked nothing like her picture, and mocked her as the Flanders mare. Still, he couldn't back out, and the marriage went ahead. From the start, Henry refused to be with her as a husband. The marriage was never consummated, and just 6 months later, Henry demanded it be annulled. But Anne was clever. Instead of fighting, she agreed, and in return, she won what no other wife of Henry ever did: freedom, wealth, and safety. Henry granted her castles, lands, a fortune, and even the title, the king's beloved sister. Anne became part of the royal family, respected and secure. She grew close to Henry's daughters, Mary and Elizabeth, and lived peacefully in England until her death in 1557. Unlike Henry's other wives, who faced tragedy and bloodshed, Anne of Cleves walked away with everything and became the luckiest. Of all 6 queens, Catherine Howard, the tragic 5th wife of King Henry VIII, Catherine Howard c. 1523 to 1542, family, niece of Thomas Howard, Duke of Norfolk, cousin of Anne Boleyn, Henry VIII's second wife. Marriage to Henry VIII, married the king in 1540. Shortly after his divorce from Anne of Cleves, she was a teenager, while Henry was nearly 50, overweight, and in poor health. Henry called her his rose without a thorn. Her short reign as queen, Catherine was lively, charming, and loved dancing, music, and courtly life. She became queen at about 17 years old, but soon, rumors of her relationships before marriage, and possibly during, it began to spread. Downfall and execution. Accused of committing adultery with Thomas Culpeper, a courtier, Henry felt deeply betrayed, as he had adored her. In 1542, she was tried for treason and condemned, executed at the Tower of London on the 13th of February, 1542. Around age 19, before her death, she said, "I die a queen, but I would rather die the wife of Culpeper." Legacy. Remembered as the most tragic and youthful queen of Henry VIII. Her story is often compared with her cousin Anne Boleyn, who also lost her life on the scaffold. Catherine Parr was the 6th and last wife of King Henry VIII of England. She was also the wife who outlived him. Here are some key facts about her. Born 1512, died 1548. Important points. She married Henry VIII in 1543. Unlike his other wives, Catherine was more of a companion and nurse to Henry, who was older and in poor health by then. She was highly educated, intelligent, and religious, and she strongly supported the Protestant Reformation. Catherine was a stepmother to Henry's 3 children, Mary, Elizabeth, and Edward, and played a big role in reconciling them with their father. After Henry's death in 1547, she married Thomas Seymour, but sadly died in 1548 after giving birth to her only child. Mary Seymour